everybody, and welcome to TOFFEE BLUECAST. Everton pre-match. Manchester United v Everton. Yes, we are away, and we have got an opposition fan guest. That's what we do the night before the big game to give us a proper head-to-head fan clash before the game. Now, if you're on Twitter, you can comment. We still see your comments. It comes up over from Twitter, but there is that link there on Twitter that you can see, that you can click. It brings you over to YouTube. And we can regularly see your comments, put them on the screen. And we really do interact with fans on this because that's what it's about, us all getting together before the game. If we get Man United fans in, we don't troll them. Really interested on what you're going to say on this pre-match. And we'll look after you as well. But we do have a bit of banter. This is a proper head-to-head. So let's get him in the house. Here he is, the man, the Dan, the one and only. Here he is. He's up for business. How are we doing, Dan? You all right?
I'm all right, mate. How are you? Are we ready?
Yeah, I am now. Yeah, I am. I mean, I went on your channel yesterday, and it got me a little bit ready, and now it's the night before, so I've got the Rockies on in the house. So yeah, I'm getting ready, Dan. How are you feeling on this?
A little bit more pessimistic than yesterday, to be honest. We've got a couple of more injuries that's been announced today. Apparently, Amari Forson's out now as well, so that's really going to limit what we can do. I think it's so predictable, the lineup. But obviously, we'll talk about that later. But yeah, a few more injuries again. Not in a great place, United, at the minute, unfortunately.
We've actually got, I mean, we'll go through the players and stuff like that. I think we've got like nearly a full squad, haven't we, Paul? That's not our actual issue. Our issue is just finding form with the players. But So who have you got out then in the press? What's it revealed today, sorry?
I think it's Amari Forson's not going to be fit. Maguire's not back fit. Luke Shaw's not back fit. I think Rashford and Evans have come back fit, but they're like 50-50. He might play them, they might not. It's a bit of a struggle. But there just seems to be a really big list at the minute for United. I think, if I'm not wrong, Mount, Martinez, Malacia, Hoyland, Maguire, Shaw, Wan-Bissaka, Martial, Forson now as well. So a good 5 first teamers maybe there that are missing.
So you have got a lot of players out, but don't be fooled by this. Dan might be horse runners here because Man United have got a massive squad. So they still might be strong after these players out. We will put on the screen what players they've got. So we will have a look at this. Now, how are you feeling, Paul, on this? Are you up for this? Are you ready?
I don't want to be the pessimistic one, but I hate this fixture. I really do. This is almost as bad as Liverpool away for me. And it's been, I know we've managed to get a couple of draws and stuff in the past, but our record there is just absolutely shocking, to be honest. However, I am lifted by the fact that United have lost however many at home this season. Palace, they lost at home against. Brighton, I know they lost at home against. Was it West Ham as well? Fulham. I'm sure Fieldy can mention any of the other ones. So, stuff happens, but we've got to get the ball in the net. We've got to get the ball in the net. And the last few times we've been to United, we found it hard to get over the halfway line, to be fair. So I just hope that we go with a decent game plan that isn't literally sitting inside the area, just waiting for United to score, and then us having to try and get something, but then conceding later. That's the usual story, the usual narrative. I hope that we buck the trend tomorrow and actually make a bit more of a show of it for ourselves.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. We will talk about what's our favourite. We will get people involved in the comments. What's our favourite game that we've played, Man U, and what game stays in our head. I just want to say, last stream, I mean, we've been going one season. Last stream, we had 1,300 views, and we've now got 600 subscribers. We've got 70 plus people on the stream. And I just want to thank you all for getting behind this channel, because there is quite a few on now. And it's hard work, and you are supporting us. So I've got to give you a shout out while you're there. So if you can hit that like and subscribe, we would like you to be subscribed, because then you're going to know when we go live, and we'll always get you in the comments. But we really do interact as a channel with the comments, and we do get opposition fan guests on as well. So it's a channel that's we're just doing really well and happy with it. So if you can hit that like and subscribe, it's appreciated. But just because we've got like 80 people on, just probably because Dan's from the Man United fan, he's got all these people on.
Friday now.
Friday night, baby. Friday
Ooh,
night.
what a
Here we
week.
go. Let's get ready for
What a
this then. Let's go all frigging match of the day or tactical analysis. Yours ain't that bad, Dan. Yours ain't that bad, Dan. When I went on your channel, you acted like you wasn't that happy, but your results ain't. Oh, you are Man United, ain't you? But I don't think your results are mega bad here. Let's get the results on the screen. Talk us through your results then, Dan. Go on. Let's put you at the top there.
It's a difficult one for me anyway, because the results on paper don't look bad. Obviously, 3 wins, 2 losses. But the performances in all of them have been very, very similar. So we was lucky to get over the line against Villa and Luton, and even against West Ham, where it finished 3-0, it wasn't a complete performance. So the performances just aren't there. And yes, you take the result, and obviously you always take the result. But when we talk about the comparison between Everton and us, you've only lost 1 more game than we have. We've lost 11. You've lost 12. You just drew more than we have. So it's not, do you know what I mean? And you look at the results, they're literally 2-1. So them results could go either way to being a draw, being a win. We've just managed to get over the line. What we're looking for from the United point of view is a proper performance for a change, where we step out onto the pitch, we dominate for 70 minutes and we create the chances and we get a couple of goals up. And we haven't done that more than a handful of times this season, and 2 of them have been in cup games, and that's the problem. They just seem to be always very close. There's never really a domination to it whatsoever. I think the best thing for Everton to do to us tomorrow is really give it a go. Like, it'd be interesting if you do sit back. I'd be very surprised, because if you're prepared to go at us, we're struggling in midfield at the minute. There's no cohesion. There's no control. So if you can sort of get on top in midfield, which Fulham did to us, I would say 20 minutes onwards, Old Trafford, it was just an uphill battle for us. So even though the results look positive, you take 3 wins out of 5 all day long, the performances just aren't there yet. And I mentioned it yesterday, obviously, on our channel. Really now, between now and the end of the season, this is what Man United fans now need to see. We need to see that there's something there for Ten Hag going forward. He's not completely blameless, but he's not all to blame. So we sort of want to see stuff where the 11's better, the team's better. If it ends in a draw, so be it. But we need something more on the pitch than what we're seeing. So while you'd be happy with the last 5 games in terms of you wouldn't expect us to beat City, it's still the performances on the pitch that are really the issue. So sometimes you can win a game and it glosses over the actual performance. And Solskjaer said this about trophies as well. He said, sometimes you can win a trophy and it papers over big cracks, which I think it did last season for us. He won a trophy. It papered over a big crack that was still there. He massively overachieved last season with his team. And I think now we're about where we should be. So we just need a little bit more from the lads.
There's such cracking stuff that you put there. It is interesting, because sometimes we felt like that, where you get a good result and it hides stuff, doesn't it? Like, you literally get a good result done and you think to yourself, now everybody's going to think everything's okay just because you got a good result. But really, you know that you need to actually identify the problems, and the result has taken away the spotlight on the problems. So I do understand where you're coming from, because we've had that before as well. Paul, do you want to talk about our form there?
Yeah, well, last 10 games, 5 defeats, 5 draws. I had a good chat with an Everton friend of mine last night, actually, and we agreed that when we take it to teams, we end up getting done over. Particularly, what happens at home is that we're in the ascendancy, and we tend to create all the chances, don't put them away, and then in the second half, even though we've been on top, then the other side get their chance, and in the last however long, last 15, 15 minutes or so and end up winning the game. And we're sort of like, hang on, how the bloody hell did that happen? What he actually mentioned is that the way that we're playing away is that we're not doing that. We're doing that in the first half at home, and then we're coming into it second half and pushing further up the pitch to try and get that win. But then we're getting caught. So he was almost saying, God, I wish we would play how we play away at home as well. Because what's happened away is that we haven't changed in that second half. We've been much more structured, solid, and maybe had fewer chances, but got the odd goal from it as well. You know, the Brighton game was a perfect example, really, that we were never going to come out and take it to Brighton as such. We were going to be quite solid and take chances that we possibly could against Brighton, and then try and see the game through. We wouldn't change in the second half and sort of take it to them. And what's happened is that we're just getting caught by usually a bloody good goal in the last few minutes. It's happened against Brighton twice over the last couple of seasons. Actually, earlier on this season, where we were 1-up and actually lost it right in the last, and same with Brighton again away. So if we can keep our focus a little bit more defensively and know our strengths, which is keeping those clean sheets and creating, again, it's just putting the ball in the bloody net, isn't it? But if we can do that, but avoid that last 10, 15 minute sucker punch that we tend to get at home, then we would be much higher than we are now. With United, I can't see us taking it to them at all, to be honest. I know what you're saying, Fieldy, about sort of Fulham did that after about 20 minutes. And Fulham, I would say Fulham are a much more confident passing side than we are, particularly in the middle of the pitch. And I just can't see us doing that. I think our kind of plan would just be to defend well. As soon as you get into our half, start taking you there and try and do breakaways. Pretty much the way we played against City when we were away. And we held them for 70 minutes, and Mr. Haaland pops up, as you know. So I can't see us doing much different than what we tried to do against City, to be fair. It's all a matter of whether you guys can score against us.
I've been saying to you, Paul, a lot that I think we're a bit nervous at home because our fans are getting stressing that we're not scoring goals and we're not finishing chances, and we look a bit nervous to attack and we're not actually clinical. I think that our players are sensing that in the stadium. And I do believe, and I've said it all along, I think when we play away, our players, they go away and the Man United fans there and they feel less pressure. And if we are to break this winning thing, if we are to start winning, I feel that it could be away. Away could be what triggers us and what could help us. Now, it's nothing against our home fans. Our home fans are incredible. But remember, Everton fans, we've been in 2 relegation battles. And we haven't won a game in the last 10. So the fans are going to be feeling it. But I do think an away game could be beneficial for us to actually get a win on the board and get started and get a couple of wins on the trot.
Dan, I was going to say that's why we're actually not where Luton are at the moment. That's why we're not where Burnley are, because we've been in it before, and you've got a manager who's been in it before. Luton are going gung-ho and just trying to score as many as they can, thinking that they're not good enough defensively. So they're getting like 2-1s against United or 3-2s against Villa and stuff like that, but they are still losing those games. Whereas we're not actually putting the ball in the net, but we are keeping any goals conceded really down. I mean, we must be like 3rd or 4th in number of goals conceded this season, which is absolutely bizarre considering where we are. So at least we're sort of holding it together defensively most of the time, I'd say.
Well, when I've written the Man United results up there, Dan, I've noticed that you're giving the ball back to the players a lot there because there's a lot of 1-2s. 1-2, 1-2, 1-2. It's a poor joke, but I laughed at myself because I just written that up before I come on, and I was like, I written it, and I looked at the score. I didn't know your scores. I was like, I've written it, and it was like Man United, Fulham 1-2, Luton, Man United 1-2, Villa Man United 1-2, and I thought they like the 1-2s these do, don't they? And similar scores, ain't they? Similar sort of performances there.
It's very rare that we win by more than a goal, to be honest. Someone's just made a really good point. It was the Blues.
Go on, get it up, Paul. Get it up for
I
it.
can't remember what
The
it was.
Blues
Something
is
like
good.
you're more drilled than we are, but we've been winning off moments of magic, and that is our season completely true this season. So Everton look well drilled, well in formation, etc. But we're winning games because we've got Garnacho doing bicycle kicks and Kobe Mainu dribbling from the left wing and skipping past two and bending the ball in the bottom corner and stuff like that. So that's absolutely spot on to the season of probably both of us, to be honest. It's frustrating to watch the football at Man United at the minute because it's just all over the place. But we discussed it briefly yesterday in terms of Ten Hag's got players that he doesn't want and that Solskjaer didn't want, that even Mourinho was possibly trying to get rid of some of them. And it's like a mixed match of about 3 different managers. So you don't know, they don't know what they're playing. They don't know what they're doing. There's just pure confusion. And for whatever reason, these managers then don't drop them players. Like, I would imagine Daesh came in and made changes to the squad that maybe you didn't agree with at first, but tactically it worked better. So it was sort of accepted. He just keeps putting these players in the wrong position and hoping that it works out. Lindelof at left back is madness to me. He plays right back for Sweden, but he keeps sticking him at left back when Dalot can play left back. So he could have Lindelof at right back where he's played for Sweden, Dalot at left back, and they're a bit more natural. But he doesn't. He just pops Amrabat at left back, Lindelof at left back, Fernandes right wing. A good tactical manager, and not even a great tactical manager, but a good tactical manager can get at Ten Hag quite well, which is why, I mean, we did the Fulham show, and the lady we had on for the Fulham fan, she was so confident it was going to be 2-1, and it was just oozing out of it. And she was like, if Reed plays, we're going to win because he'll dominate the midfield. And I was just like, I don't like this because she's so confident. She's obviously clearly seen something. And it literally, everything she said came to fruition. And she said, just because Silva is a good enough manager to spot the mistake, know what to tell his players to do to take the most of it. It happened against Brighton earlier this season. For about 15 minutes, we was massively on top. It was amazing. It was probably the best 15 minutes we played this season. And De Zerbi just onto the pitch, changed to basically playing down one side in a 3 at the back. They battered us for the rest of the game. We couldn't get the ball off him. He spotted the weakness and he hit it. And the play is, I don't know whether it's Ten Hag couldn't tactically change it to stop what was happening, or the players tactically couldn't do what he was asking to stop it from happening. And it seems to be a bit of both, if that makes sense. He's asking for stuff from these players and they just can't give it him for whatever reason. So I think because I've seen Daesh and the way he sets up tactically and how astute he is tactically, I think he will see something in that midfield where he can think, if we do this, it will give us a good chance of dominating that midfield. If you sit in and play for a counter-attack, it will probably benefit us more than if you attack us, so I'll be shocked if he doesn't try it. But possession-wise this season, we've been poor. I think 46% possession on average in most games. We've given the ball to the opposition and then trying to counter-attack ourselves because we can't control the game. So it'd be an interesting one, but I'm not overly optimistic about it. We're basically going to be playing for a moment. I think Everton have got the 4th best defence in the league in terms of goals conceded, and Pickford's high on the clean sheet thing as well. We've only conceded a couple more. The issue is for both of us scoring goals. So it's got a boring 0-0 written all over it, but maybe 1-1.
Take it.
Yeah, we don't.
I think we'd take it.
But yeah, it's interesting on our score predictions, isn't it? Yeah, I said to you, Dan, didn't I, yesterday? I said the problem with Man United, they've got a lot of players that are underperforming, but they are players with a lot of ability. And although, Dan, you're saying to me, oh, you're not doing that well and you're not that happy with it at the minute, Everton are that team that are cursed, and your players will likely turn up and have the game of their lives against us. I mean, we know how it goes with Martial when he plays against Everton. He scores about 20 goals. Fernandes seems to step it up against Everton as well. So although you're telling me these things that are making me really confident and want to smash you, there are parts of me that are thinking it's not going to be as easy as it's sounding, because some of these players, if just some of these players that ain't performing for you decide to turn it on this game, they are big players.
It's not even
They
for the
are
game.
big
That's the
players.
issue. It's not got, you ain't got to worry about Garnacho playing well for 90 minutes. It's the fact that over the 30 seconds he can make it 1-0. And that's what we've been living off this season, in terms of we'll be plodding along in the game and suddenly he'll come up with a goal from 20 yards or a bit of skill to set a goal up. And they're playing in small patches in the game. So I genuinely think it's going to be a bit of a stalemate for a bit while they try and work out how each other's going to line up, because we're both playing very similar, except we've probably got more players on the pitch that can have these moments, and Everton have got less going forward that have them moments. I think that will be the difference.
What was that? Yeah, but we're playing your last game. We're all ready for the game. We're looking good. We start good. And then you go and decide to score an overhead kick like you did. Absolute. Well, as an Everton fan, you think, like, what do you do? That overhead kick is something that he probably does 1 out of 10. It's like a Wayne Rooney overhead kick, like similar to the Wayne Rooney one. And you think, oh my God, bloody hell. And you're 1-0 down and you've got a massive hill to climb. So that's why I say to you, Man United are just one of those teams for us. And it was a good goal. That stays in my head. We're going to get the lineups on, people. There is plenty of people on. We do give it a shout out sometimes, because we'll come off the stream sometimes and there'll be loads on, but you can't even be asked to like it. I get it, but if you can just hit that like, it makes a difference and it puts the channel around more for us. So there's 160 plus people, I'm probably 200 with Twitter. If you can hit that like and you can subscribe, we're only on 600 and we're a channel that deserves more. So get behind us, please. Hit that like button and let's have 150 likes when we come off this stream. Why not? You're all there. Just do it. Help us out. Cost nothing. Just support us. You're listening. You're here. Right. Let's do this then. I'll put a bit of music on while I get it. Or last lineups. But yeah, that was a build-up, wasn't it? Gets you ready, that doesn't it? That's the last lineup of Man United, and that's the last lineup of Everton. So I'm going to get Dan to talk about it first, the Man United fan. So you tell us what you're packing, and we'll tell you what we're packing. Then we'll say what we think weaknesses could be, and then we do a lineup prediction, people. So there's loads on. We want your lineups after we spoke about this, and then we finish the show with score predictions. So come on then, Dan. What do you think? That's your last team that you played. Tell us about them. We know some of them. Well, all of them.
I mean, on paper, it's a good lineup, except Lindelof left back is just not the one. The midfield looks stronger on paper than it has been. So McTominay is not a centre midfielder, a defensive midfielder. He's basically sort of an attacking midfielder that arrives late in the box. So playing in there is not his best position, which takes away from his game. It also takes away from our midfield. Rashford through the middle is shaky at best. He's much better on the left. I think because of the injury to Forson that he will play through the middle. Again, Fernandes in that position, he ends up going to the right. It's not his best position. He's out of the game too much. He's having to do too much defensively. It takes away from the formation for us. The best player on the pitch, or the two best players on the pitch for United recently, have been Kobe Mainu, who's just looked absolutely fantastic in terms of he's a kid, but he's playing like a man. He's got the intelligence of a 25-year-old footballer, not a 17, 18-year-old footballer. And Diego Dallo, believe it or not, has been absolutely tremendous this season for us. He's really missed any games. He's starting really to take well to this inverted wing-back position. He's really starting to master it. He's attacking play is getting a little bit better. I've been quite impressed with Varane for the last couple of games. I've not been overly impressed with his United career overall, but the last couple of games he's actually looked quite good, looked like a bit of a leader. And believe it or not, and we spoke about this yesterday, Dan, Evans should not be in the Man United lineup in 2024, but he's actually been one of the best players for us this season. Not in terms of, it's a strange one because it's not in terms of form or like he's been given 9 out of 10s, but his leadership on the pitch is absolutely massive for dragging players into position, saying where they should be, closing gaps. He's just a proper leader on the pitch. And for whatever reason, Varane and Casemiro can't do that for us. Johnny Evans has been doing it. So he's really important to the team as well. We've obviously got, and we spoke about it briefly, there's loads of players on the pitch there that have individual moments and can cause a lot of problems individually quickly. Garnacho recently has been a bit of a worry. He's played really well this season. Obviously, we remember the overhead kick, but I think he's started 23 times in the last 23, and he's only, I think he's 19. So he's played 23 straight games at 19. Me personally, I think it's too much for a young kid. He needs a break. He's not a fully grown man yet. He needs a little bit of easing into the team. He I think he could do with a rest, but he's not going to go to Ten Hag and say, I need a rest because he's 19. He's going to play every game. But you can see from sometimes his decision making, or even a bit later on in games, he's starting to get a bit tired, making the wrong decisions mentally. So I think we're going to be relying on these individual moments more so than dominating this game for sure. I think the biggest threat to you will be Fernandez, just because he's a shithouse, but he's an absolute fantastic player. In terms of, most teams hate Fernandez, and you can see why, but most would also take Fernandez because of what he can do on the football pitch. So yeah, I would say the standout player for me is Fernandez, and that's the one you're going to have to watch.
Yes, yeah. What is the formation there? Because the Blues has just commented the lineup looks a bit mixed up. I mean, sometimes when they put the Everton formation out, they get all the actual where the players are playing wrong. Where's everyone playing there? Because it's like it says there it's a 4-3, where Fernandez is normally a midfielder as well, isn't he? What is the formation?
Well, this was against City, and he tried like a 4-2-2-2 sort of formation, and it just didn't work. He sort of, McTominay and Rashford and Garnacho and Fernandez were just behind, and it was basically like 4 and then 5 and just blocking in to try and stop the possession going forward. We didn't really have a striker. We had 2 midfielders dropping back, and Rashford left, Garnacho right. But I don't think he's going to line up like that against Everton. It will probably be a 4-3-3 with Garnacho and Rashford wide. Oh, sorry, probably Anthony, to be honest, wide with Rashford up front. So I don't think that is the team that will start, and he definitely won't play the same formation as he played against City, because it was a very sitting defensive formation ultimately when we didn't have the ball.
Dan, is your keeper a weakness? Because when I've watched him sometimes, he flaps more than he misses when she's ovulating, mate. Is he a weakness, or is he a strength?
He's actually a very good goalkeeper. You've got these 2 versions of Onana we've seen this season. We've seen a Premier League goalkeeper in Onana who has been one of the top 3 goalkeepers in pretty much every single metric measured. And then you've seen the Champions League Onana who single-handedly cost us Champions League by consistently chucking the ball in the net. He's prevented more goals than I think only 2 goalkeepers have prevented more than Onana. So he's been decent for us, but unfortunately, nothing's going to improve for the goalkeeper when he's facing as many shots as he faces. I think only Sheffield United have had more shots on their goals than Man United this season, which is absolutely embarrassing.
He played well against us last time, but I just know in other games I have seen crosses and stuff like that. It's kind of just wipe players out instead of actually going for the ball. I thought that was funny by me, by the way. That's probably one of my funniest jokes I put on. Comedian, here I come. Right, so the Blues likes it anyway. A laughing face there. I'm not sure you'll see weaknesses on us as well. So let's get it out of you now, Dan. Your lineup prediction, starting from your goalkeeper. What is your lineup prediction? Give yours and then tell us what you think it will be, and then we'll do our lineup predictions, and then we'll get the lineup predictions in the comments. Go on, Dan. Go for it. From your keeper.
I think I'll go for what Ten Hag's going to pick. I think he'll go that back 5, but I think he'll drop. So basically, he'll have Alana, Lindelof, Evans, Varane, Dalot, and then Mainu, Casemiro, Fernandez in midfield, Garnacho left, Anthony right, Rashford up front. I think that's what he'll go for. He sees that as his strongest team, irrelevant of players playing out of position. He sees it as his strongest team. So that's what he'll play. I maintain that we should have tried something different recently by bringing, I'm going to sound mental to say this, but I think we should have gone to a back three because we've had more defenders, centre backs fit than wing backs, and we should have tried Anthony at either left back or a left wing back or right wing back, so we can put Dallo in a more familiar position, because Anthony's tracking back and defending is actually better than he's attacking. So if you could stick him at wing back, he might be a bit more of an asset than what he's been. But I would actually do something a little bit different in terms of, I would give Ahmad a start and maybe give Garnacho a rest. So I would pick probably the same team as what we see there in terms of Onana, Lindelof, Evans, Varane, Dallo, Casemiro, Mainu, Fernandes. But then I would go Ahmad and Rashford instead of Garnacho and Rashford, and just give Ahmad a little bit of a run out. I wouldn't risk any of the players that could be fit, like Højlund, Maguire, apparently 50-50 to make it, but I don't think they're going to. I wouldn't risk them anyway. We've got the Shite coming up in the Cup, so it's our last trophy that we could possibly win. We need to be doing our best to get through that. But you just need to try something different. What we've tried over the last 5 weeks in terms of performance just hasn't worked.
And do you think, you mentioned this yesterday about that you've got the Cup coming up and you're not going to be in anything next season, you say, because it's a bit of a flop this season. You're going to struggle to get your Europa League conference. So you said you really want to win this Cup. And do you think that your players are going to have that in mind as well, that they're not going to put 110% in because you're actually, they're more focused on the Cup like you're thinking? Do you think they've got the same sort of mindset? Do you think we could get an easy game from that mindset, or do you know?
These players, they've been found wanting quite a lot in tough situations. We spoke briefly about the Ole Gunnar Solskjaer interview, and you could see there's a little bit of a broken mindset. And we've had a similar issue to what you've described. We've got ahead in games or been drawing, and as soon as we come under a little bit of pressure, they haven't got the mentality to keep it out. They just fold. We saw it against City. The first goal went in, edge drop, second goal went in, and then we didn't touch the ball for 25 minutes, and then we conceded a third. They just didn't have the mentality to keep City out. And it's happened in quite a few games this season. We spoke about it yesterday. I think if some of your players want to turn this into a bit more of a scrap and a fight, it would give us more problems because we don't seem to have the players to react to that. So, yeah, I would definitely question the mentality of our players at the minute. However, you don't know, because you've even got Scott McTominay that comes off the bench and just turns into a match winner. I think he's won us 12 points this season from the bench, which is absolutely incredible from a sub, to be fair. So we're so hit and miss. It's so hard to comment on what's going to happen, because I can sit here being pessimistic and we can go and we win 3-0 like last time. Or I could sit here going, do you know what? We showed a bit of form for the last 3 games going into the Fulham game. We're definitely going to beat Fulham at Old Trafford to lose.
That's
to
what
lose
I feel
2-1.
like, Dan.
Yeah.
I feel like, I generally feel like Man United, we could play them tomorrow and they could be crap. Or there could be a complete hustle and we think they're crap and they smash us and turn into like prime Man United. So that's what scares me a little bit. You don't know what you're going to get, do you? And
all over the place.
if we, I don't think we'll get it easy. I think United will want to turn up this game. There's a lot of questions on your manager as well. I think that's a big, like, your manager, he'll probably get the sack if he keeps losing. So of course he's got to start putting a few wins on the board to keep his job. Right, so we're going to do our lineup predictions now, and then we'll get the ones in the comments on the screen. Paul, I'm going to start with you. Lineup prediction. Let's put it on you. Go for it, Paul.
Well, I don't think there's a massive amount we can do. Like you said, though, we haven't got many injuries at the moment. I was worried because the headline was Dyche dealt blow with midfielder getting injured, but actually it's just Gomez. So Gomez isn't available for this. Garnagay is doubtful, but they've not said anything bad about Onana. So I think a lot of it will stay the same. I think most people's kind of main 2 positions that they'll be thinking about, or is a bit more arguable, is the usual right back. situation where we seem to have 4 or 5 people who can play right back. And who plays up front? Are you a Beto fan? Are you a DCL fan? Let us know. For me, Pickford in goal. As we've got there, Mikolenko, Brantwaite, Tarky. I don't think you can leave any of them out or change any of that. For me, I'd go Coleman right back. If he's fit, I'd rather play him. I think he would get the side going a bit more as well. Just a bit more of a leader on the pitch would be great. Godfrey's not done a lot wrong, to be honest. But I would much prefer if Coleman was there. I play James Garner and Onana in the middle. Harrison, I just have Harrison. There's not many people who can play on the right-hand side. I hope he doesn't go for Young. I hope that doesn't happen, to be honest. So I hope Harrison's on the right-hand side. McNeil, some people says that he needs a rest, but who are you going to put there? Who are you going to put on the left side instead of him? You know, Dobbin, young lad. Danjuma's injured still at the moment. So McNeil for me on the left-hand side. Decore, we don't seem to win a game without him. So Decore in front of Garnett and Onana. And I don't say this very often, but I'd start Beto.
Yes, he's starting Beto. He's normally a Calvert-Lewin, Paul is, but he's changed it. I was waiting for Calvert-Lewin then, Paul. I was waiting for Calvert-Lewin.
I know. The thing about that is like you said last week, because I said DCL would normally get an hour to 70 minutes or something, and then Beto would come on and run and knock everyone about and stuff. But maybe DCL needs to take that last 20 minutes, 25-minute role and let Beto batter everyone in the first hour. First 70 minutes, because as you've often said, when Beto plays, people get injured, whether he means to or not, to be honest. So if we're going to ruffle any feathers in that United defence at all, then I would start with Beto. He would be annoying for United defenders. I think there could be free kicks won either way, and he could certainly ruffle some feathers. So I would start with Beto up front.
That is Paul's lineup, everybody. Now I'm going to drop my lineup. Here we go. Dan's lineup, the big one. Here we go. There is like 200 plus people on tonight. It's a record breaker, I tell you. And thanks for supporting Toffee BLUECAST, the channel. Here we go. Can you hit that like button? Can you hit that subscribe while you're on? Because someone did put in the comments, there's not many likes compared to how many people are on. So match it up, people. Do your job. Help us out. And we'll get your comments on the screen. Right. So my lineup will be Jordan Pickford in goals. Happy birthday yesterday, by the way. I love you. He's a good goalkeeper as well. It was interesting. When I went on your show, Dan, you all spoke highly of Jordan Pickford and reckoned he plays really good against Man United. A lot of people don't do that. They normally say Pickford's crap. But, yeah, it was nice to actually hear people be honest.
Yeah, no, Pickford's a good goalkeeper. Like, I'd take the piss and call him T-Rex arms all the time, but he's more often than not, he's a good goalkeeper. I doubted him for England a few years ago, but we've got to a final and semi-final with him in net. So I don't think he's one of them. I think he's a bit of an easy target sometimes because he can be a bit nuts, but I think he's a good goalkeeper.
I'll take that. That's what I say. You've got to. We rip players as well. Sometimes when you get the T-Rex Pickford, you've got to take it as they're slating him because they know he's good. That's what I'll do anyway. But it's probably not. That's the way I'll take it. But he does perform well, Jordan Pickford. We love him. We do love him. You want, like I said to you, Dan, I hate Fernandes. And you've just said how much you love Fernandes. It's the way it is. We love our own shit houses, but other teams don't like your shit house, do they? And yours is Fernandes. You love him because he's a shit house. Everton fans don't like him.
See, I have the annoyance that my entire family support Liverpool. And they all love Robertson. They all love him. They love Robertson, and he's an absolute knobhead. And I'll say he's a knobhead, and they're like, "Oh no, he's not. He is. He's the biggest knobhead in football." But
proper.
If he was on your team, you'd love him because of that.
Even if I was playing with Robertson, if Robertson was playing left back, if he was playing left back and I was playing left centre back, and someone was running down the wing, I'd make sure I tackle them and clear Robertson out as well because I can't stand his. So much hype from those Liverpool players, and I can't believe that Trent said that they only spend not much money, and then you look at how much they spend. They've done
but they're
really
still
well,
spending the
Liverpool, because
Coutinho
they
money,
haven't.
aren't they?
Yeah, they're in cuckoo land. Liverpool are. They reckon they've spent like 5 million and they've done it all with no money. Oh, don't get me started on them. Can't stand them. Can't stand them. And I know Man U fans don't like them as well. You're just giving it a bit on your channel about the shite as well, I call them. So, yeah, my line, we talked about Pickford there. Pickford's in goals. My left back is Mikalenko. He's magic. You can't change him. He's a player that started and we all wasn't sure and some wanted him out. And we all thought, oh, no. And then all of a sudden, we found out he was carrying a bit of a knock, and there was actually a really good player in Mikalenko, and he's smashing it left back. Really loves a one-on-one challenge against the opposition. So Mikalenko left back. Branthwaite is the best young gem in the world for me. I love him. He's cloned. He's got to be a clone. He's got to be made of metal or a clone, Branthwaite. Tarkowski at the side of him, he smells of bread, and apparently Tarkowski smells of warm bread, and we recently got a video that he gets a lot of action as well. So you can't go wrong with Tarkowski playing centre-back. You know what I mean? Smells of warm bread and gets a lot of action. Tarkowski centre-back. This is where we've got problems, right back. Now, in this right back position, we didn't have any players, so Godfrey got his chance when he's a centre-back, and he's been doing really well because he's quite athletic, and you can get away with it when you're athletic in a right back position because it's a lot of chase and tackle, and Godfrey's got that. He is an athlete. But he hasn't got that football brain. He's not that good at heading. That's where we've gone wrong. We've lost a couple of goals with his headers. So do you change it? Coleman's back. And Ashley Young used to play right back, but we started moving him right wing, and it's been a lot better for Everton fans. He's a lot better right wing than being the last man to tackle right back. I'm going to go
forward, though. And you don't get forward much, though. With
you don't get forward. You don't get forward unless he's already just there. I'm going to go for right back. Coleman, the thing is, Garnacho is going to come up against our right back, and that's what scares me. Although Dan, in his team, actually had Garnacho out, but he thinks Garnacho will play in your manager's team. I'm going to go for Coleman. Bugger it. Coleman can do it. He's my captain. You know what I mean? He's my captain. I love him. Coleman. Sorry, Godfrey. I feel sorry for doing that, because he ain't been that bad. But I just think Coleman's just got a bit more stay on the ball, composed, big game, need to stay up. Come on, Coleman, do it. Centre midfield. I'm going to stick with James Garner. It was interesting, the Man U fans yesterday asking me how he's done. I think he's dipped off a little bit, but I think there's a fantastic player in him. And like you just said, Dan, the problem is some of these young players, like Garnacho for you want them to come in and get a rest every now and again. Garner hasn't had a rest. The whole weight of Everton is on his shoulders, and he's a young player where he should be looked after a bit more. And I feel sorry for James Garner because there's no rotation on him, and everything's on him. So hopefully he plays well this game, James Garner, against Man U as well, his ex-club. He's going to be up for it, isn't he? Onana at the side of him. Everton fans ain't sure about Onana, but I'm going to stick with him. I love him. I really do love him. He's just not put the pieces together, and he's very raw, but he is a superstar, Onana. And I think this is a big game for him because I'll talk about this now. I'll stick with Decore there as well. This is a real battle, because you've got Onana up against Casemiro when you look there. You've got Garner up against McTominay probably, and then you've got Decore up against your young kid as well. So that's a real good battle of players. That is, isn't it? That is a real battle. I know you're not a fan, Dan, of some of your centre midfielders, but I'm scared of them still, and I think that's a proper battle in the centre.
Just the cohesion's not quite there yet because they've not played many games together. I think we'll do what you've done there. We will have a triangle. It will be Casemiro, Meno, and Fernandes, and yours will be Garner and Arnold Decore.
It is going to be a battle of the players there, isn't it? That's why I just said it like that, because it is going to be your three against our three. And I know, how'd you say the young kid's name again? Sorry.
Kobe Mainu.
Mainu had a fantastic game against us last time. Cleared one off the line, which could have actually gave us the momentum to win the game. He was a superstar. Honestly, he's really good. So there was some good battles here of young players and experienced players as well. Right, so right wing, it's got to be Jack Harrison for me. as I said to you on your channel, Dan, our wingers are just not doing it. But I have said the problem is they're not being allowed to attack that much. Because they're defending that much, when they go to attack, they're burnt out. I'd like our right back and left back to give them more freedom to just say, go for it, and we can cover it ourselves. But we're not. Our actual wingers are thinking about helping our left back and right back out all the time, and it's just stopping them, I feel. And that's the reason we're not playing well on the wings. So I'm going to stick with Harrison. I think he could be good against you. He hasn't been performing, but he's got to step it up. McNeil is a lot of people want to drop him for Dobbin, but I'm sorry. I think Dobbin is a fantastic young talent, but in a massive game like this, McNeil, an experienced player like him, is the player to turn to. Dobbin was playing League Two last season for Derby County, and he was getting subs sometimes then and wasn't always starting. He wasn't always straight in the team then in League Two. And I think if you Premier League, Everton have got to survive against Man United. Starting Dobbin could be risky. Bring him on for his speed later on, maybe 60th, 70th minute. But I can't be putting Dobbin ahead of McNeil. McNeil is the man for me. And I think we've just got to get behind him and trust him instead of putting pressure on him. Because he's got it in him. We've seen he's got it in him. And if you think back, Paul, to last season, us staying up was evolved around McNeil, wasn't it? The Brighton game, McNeil. He was...
Yeah.
Well,
we almost went flat back five with McNeil pulling into that left side of defence. And it worked. Yeah. Do you know, he stopped a hell of a lot that day. Stopped a lot of crosses.
And he creates a lot as well, doesn't he? He gets back and he creates a lot. So I've got to stick with McNeil. Now, my attacker, I've said Beto. Nothing against Calvert-Lewin. Let Calvert-Lewin, because Calvert-Lewin's not doing it, take the weight off Calvert-Lewin. Let Beto play. Put the weight on Beto. Say to Beto, can you do it? Because Beto's not been given a proper chance. Let Beto play. Give him the 60 minutes until he lets you down. He got 60 minutes last game. He scored. Calvert-Lewin ain't done that in the last probably 8 games. So you can't take that away from Beto now when he's done what you want him to do. Let Beto play, because Beto will really give Evans and Varane a nightmare. Like when a ball's played up, Beto will make sure he puts his body, smashes into them, and makes them really work hard to clear the ball. Beto, for me, has got to start. And I like him. A lot of our fans are like, oh, he's a crap signing. He isn't. I'm telling you, give him a chance. How can you say he's crap without him even having a chance? Let's just see what he is first. So that is my team. Paul, the people in the comments now, if you haven't got your team in, the lineup that you want, get it in, your lineup prediction, and we'll finish the show with score predictions on the hour. So if you can get your lineup predictions in, people, hit that like and subscribe as well. We're on like 230. We're going to be on 300 tonight. Why not, eh?
Brilliant.
We're all ready for this game. Yeah. Build up for the comments. Here we go. Put your lineups in the comments, and we'll get it on the screen. Here we go.
Yeah, people who are on Twitter, come on over to YouTube, just so then you can like and subscribe it as well. That's not no saying it. That's Lulu saying it. So do for Lulu as well as ourselves. Lots of people who made making comments about who should be playing and everything else. Lulu would have Pickford, Branthwaite, and Saki, basically. As many of them as we could have, or Blues had had just 9 Tarkovskis. That would tell you what, that would be a good battle in the air, wouldn't it? If we had 9 Tarkovskis playing on the side.
That's a good question, though, Paul. If you could have, let's just do this before we get all of them on. If you could have, take your goalkeeper away. If you could have 5 of one player and 5 of another player to make 11 in your team, what 2 players would you pick to be your 11? So you can clone a player 5 times. So you can have 5
based on this season.
On this season. Who in the comments as well? Get involved in the comments. If you could have 2 players that are cloned 5 times and they could be on the pitch, who would they be in the Everton team? Dan's going to tell us who they would be in the Man U team.
Based on this season, probably Højlund and Dalot. If they've been the best 2 players for us this season. I know Højlund went for a bit of a patch, but it looks like a proper player. And then Dalot, honestly, Dalot's been fantastic this season. I had written him off last season. Thought he was awful.
You're playing with 5 strikers.
Yeah, why not?
He's going for
You know what I mean?
5 strikers, 5 defenders. Dalot's going to be good 5 times over. That's a cracker, that is. Paul, what would yours be?
Branthwaite, without a doubt. We just wouldn't concede. And the other one, I would go McNeil, because he'd just run forever and score blinders. I just think they'd be nailed on.
Mine would be, I'd go for 5 Branthwaites, because Branthwaite could even play midfield. He's just amazing. So 5 Branthwaites, because that 5 Branthwaites on the pitch would make my day. I love him. And then I'd go 5 Decorays, because Decore is everywhere. Decore is like an engine, isn't he? Imagine 5 Decorays. You wouldn't be able to watch it. It'd be like the heat map.
That's a lot of legs, that. That's a lot of leg length.
It is a lot of legs, but Decore will knock them in. Branthwaite can score as well. Right, so Paul, that's an interesting one, that is. Paul, get the lineups on. There we go.
Oh, wow, that's good. Well, lots of people just sort of made one-off comments, really, but Blues is in, and he always puts in a decent lineup. So there he goes. And he must know something. He must know his stuff, because he's put the same lineup as me. Is that what you went for as well? What was your difference?
I went for the same as you. Yeah, I went for the same as you.
Yeah.
I think that's a good sign when you're all picking the same lineup. And we are all sticking with players. I mean, you could drop a few players because they haven't been performing. You could say Harrison hasn't been performing and McNeil hasn't, but we're not. We're sticking with them. We're staying behind them. The performances have been good, so we just got to trust them to get the results now. The other
thing as well, though. I mean, the other thing as well is that who have we got to come in? You know, we have not got any
much
depth
options
in this squad. We haven't got any options, really. I mean, if there was someone out of defence, then Keane or Godfrey would come in. That would be it. I can't think who else would, really. Holgate, bless him, is out on loan doing whatever he's doing. And midfielder-wise, all right, you could have Garner Gay come off the bench if he's fit enough. But no Gomez, no Dele Alli, whatever that situation is. Danjuma is still out for the moment. He's not even on the grass yet. On the grass, Dykes talk. And DCL is the only other striker. So it's slim pickings. It's slim pickings. It's no wonder that we've not had many people put their 11s in, because they're all going to be the same. I think that's basically what it's going to be.
It does pick itself now. Shout out to the comments as well. Keep them coming in, lads. You need to tell them all on Twitter, watchers, to come over. So the link's there on Twitter. Click the link, come over, hit that like and subscribe. It takes 2 seconds. Really appreciate it if you do it, because we've only been going 1 season, so we do need that little boost for you to get behind us, for us to be a decent channel. We keep hearing that we're really good and that we're doing well, and they enjoy coming on, and the channel helps them sometimes after the game when we lose or win. So just get behind us, please, and hit that like and subscribe. We appreciate it. We're always here before and after games, and this is a cracking show tonight. I'm loving Dan on the channel. I knew he was good when I went on his, so I dragged him over to here. Right, so we've got the lineups on now. This is the business. This is where me and Dan, I'm Dan, he's Dan. We're going to probably have a big kickoff now. Probably going to have a fight on the channel, because this is score predictions, people. I still can't believe I got told off for dancing last time when we lost. I was just trying to make myself happy when I was sad. But yeah, never been told off for dancing before. There you go. I thought I was the boss at the big fish, little fish cardboard box. But there you go. Right, score predictions. What we're going to do is we're going to put Paul first. He tries to get it right. So imagine, we don't promote gambling, but imagine you've got £1 million free bet in your William Hill account, and you've got to do a score prediction and goal scorers with £1 million free bet, and you've got to put it on. So take it seriously, Dan. Right, Paul.
Yeah.
Your score prediction and your goal scorers. Scary.
Oh, right.
He could say lose. He could.
I won't say lose, because there's got to be some.
If you think it,
there's got to be some.
You've got £1 million free bet.
I know. No. Garbage. I'd lose anyway, whatever it be. Rubbish at that. Yeah, I mean, I'm not. There's got to. We're a positive channel, so we cannot. I cannot go for a defeat. However, I am realistic at the same time, and knowing that we've won once in the last, Christ, how many? 14 visits or something like that, is it? I think it was when Oviedo
12 years.
scored the winner. Moyes was your manager at the time, I think, as well. So that's how long it's been since we've actually won there. I can't see that changing tomorrow. But I do think we could be lucky enough to score. I'm going to go for a 1-1. I think it could well go the same way as the Brighton game that we had, to be honest. I think we could stifle them in the first half. I mean, our last 4 away games I think it's our last 4 away games were 0-0 at half time. I could see that being the same tomorrow. I could see us catching one off a set piece or some mad Beto breakaway. And then United get what United normally get in the last 10 minutes against us and equalise. So I'm going to say 1-1. I'm going to say every game's like an audition for Branthwaite, and this will just fuel the fire, I think, for top clubs going after him again. So I'm going to say Branthwaite header off a set piece. And then, oh God, the fume will come from us because Fernandez will score a penalty.
We don't get penalties anymore.
We got
Well, we didn't think that, but we had one in the last one.
Game. We had our first one.
What
Was the only team
happened
not
there?
to get one.
Not since Jurgen Klopp had that rant about Solskjaer team getting all the penalties. I think our penalties have basically imploded in themselves. We get maybe 1 or 2 a season now when we was getting 8 or 9. We got absolutely.
Well, I was gonna say you were getting about 20 in the 90s, so
we had ours
over
then,
30 years. So 1-1 for me anyway. 1-1.
1-1. That's Paul's got score and goal scorers right. I'm going to put a bit of build up in here. Here we go. Dan is going to give his score prediction against us. Don't take it easy on us, Dan. And if you want to change it since what I heard yesterday, you can change it if you feel more confident today, because sometimes mine changes by the day. You don't think you're on Toffee BLUECAST? Come at me now. I don't mind having a little battle here. What you got?
Yeah,
prediction and goal scorers.
I'm no different to yesterday, to be honest. I predicted 1-1 yesterday. I think it's going to be 1-1. I don't see us keeping a clean sheet at the minute. That's my problem. We seem like we just haven't got the ability to keep the ball out the net. So yeah, I think 1-1. I'm going to go a bit different though. I think Casemiro is going to score for us. He just seems to pop up with big goals when we need them. I genuinely see it going the same way. I think you're probably going to score first, and then we will score a bit later on through Casemiro. I'm going to go for Dwight McNeil to score for you, because just got a horrible feeling that I don't know whether he's ever played on the right. I've got a horrible feeling they're going to see a bit of a weakness in Lindelof, and I think McNeil's probably the one that could take it. So yeah, I think 1-1. McNeil, Casemiro.
Well, McNeil normally plays on the left and Harrison plays on the right, but we do switch them. They both can play either side, so it's interesting.
Watching McNeil, he's got the skill set that Lindelof will struggle with in terms of ability, pace. Because he's a bit more of a mixed bag than Harrison. Harrison reminds me of a player that just gets on the ball and runs. He doesn't throw in the odd body shape and that. He's a bit more, it's a weird comparison, but he's like Ryan Giggs, just sort of ran through the odd body shape. McNeil gets his foot on the ball, tries to do a little bit more, and I don't think Lindelof will like that. So I think they might spot that early and swap them maybe if they start. But yeah, I said 1-1 yesterday. Not seeing anything that's going to change my mind. I don't think the lineup's going to be different. So 1-1.
That's what he's bringing. Dan's bringing. So we've actually, for the first time, got 2 people with the same score so far. An Everton fan and a Man U fan are both saying 1-1. People, get your scores in the comments so we can read it out before we end the show. My score prediction. I'm going to stick with what I said yesterday. I know I normally go big.
I can't remember what you said.
But I respect. Man U is not an easy game. I'm sorry, but it ain't. I don't care how they're playing before we play them. I know those players will turn up against us. So I think we're going to have to play really well here to get anything. And I do think we'll play well. 2-1, I'm going for Everton, people. 2-1. My goal scorers are going to be... I've already thought about this, dreamt about it last night. It was a wet one. Joking. Right, here we go. My goal scorers are Beto. I think Beto, if he gets 60 minutes, he'll score again. And I'm going to go for McNeil, just because when our fans are giving our own player a bit of stick, I kind of want him to do well, because I don't want no player to get knocked down. I want him to boost back up. So when McNeil's got a few doubters and people are starting dropping him for Dobbin, I'd love for him to think, you know what? Bugger you. I'm going to score. I think in the changing rooms, I'd love for Sean Dyche in the changing room say, right, players, put your hands down your shorts, grab your bollocks and realise that you have got a bit of bollocks. So when you go out on that pitch, show them that you are who you are. And you have got to here for a reason. That's what I want. I could be in the change. Couldn't I? I say, you've worked, because sometimes we say, oh, don't slate the player. But that player has to have something about him to get through all the academy systems and become a professional footballer. You've got to have something about you to be a professional footballer. So they should be able to handle us fans giving them a bit of criticism. Because I'm not being funny. When you go in that Man United stadium, all those thousands of Man U fans, when we go in Goodison Park, all those thousands of Everton fans, you think to yourself, what I'd do to be a professional footballer, air standing up on the back of your neck and stuff like that. You don't get to be a professional footballer without loads of pressure. You know you get that. So you've just got to put up with it and show some bollocks and show what you're about and believe that you are where you are for a reason. And just go out and be the best you can be and not be scared to not be that. I don't know. That's what I hope. A lot of our players, I feel, are just 60% safe. And I'd love to see them just go out and say, right, I'm not going to think about what Man United are doing. I'm going to go out and show them what I've got. And that's how you win games. I know that's a bit of a motivation talk, but I think we need it this game. And I am ready for this. A 2-1. Beto, McNeil, and your goal scorer, Dan, who am I going to go for? Probably McTominay. He's a shitbag, isn't he? He comes on 2 minutes and scores 2. So McTominay wouldn't surprise me against Everton. I'm going to go for McTominay, your goal scorer. So we will get the predictions in the comments on the screen. I'm going to say it again. We're ending the show now. It's been a cracker. I love them. I do like getting the opposition fans on because it's a proper head-to-head. This is before the game now. If I put the fans head-to-head before the game, and that's what we do on Toffee Bluecast. And thanks to all the people on tonight. It's been a cracker. Let's get on. What's the score predictions, Paul?
We have got, well, just before I put that in, we've got 14 likes and we've got a couple of new subscribers. So, I mean, 250 people here. Just do us a favour, go over and like it. See if we can get 20 before we finish.
Get us going. Get the ball rolling.
That'd be good. Blues is our resident sort of reality expert.
He's like a referee.
He is.
And the manager.
He's got 1-1 as well. We're close to our predictions together, me and the Blues. He's gone Tarky, though. He's gone Tarky and Fernandez. So that's actually quite positive for him as well. I didn't think he'd go for a draw today. I thought he'd go for a...
Yeah, he has got losses. He has been known to put us down to lose when we play a hard team, the Blues has. But I like that because I don't want people to follow the crowd on this channel. I want you to be yourselves. That's what we're here for.
It's a good shout with Tarky as well because we struggle at set pieces. So that is a good shout. For him to score from a corner would probably be up there.
Well, we only seem to be able to score from set pieces. So, so there you go, really. Joey's put a score prediction in, so Joey put one in, but he has said that Garner's going to rifle one in the top bin. The squirrel from the Wirral, the wallaby from Wallasey. So that'll be good. Hazrat, love Hazrat. He's in. He reckons as well we're going to win 2-1. Fernandez for them, Dukes and Beto for us. I hope we go 2-0 up first, though. Don't know if it made me nervous, that. But anything we got, I think tomorrow would be fantastic. My dad gave us a shout. We're in Studio B, by the way, tonight. He's gone 1-1 as well. Harrison for us. Harrison can do with a goal, to be fair.
Needs one. Everyone does, doesn't he?
For you guys. I know, yeah. I mean, the thing about, I think Rashford's they're dangerous, but he doesn't seem to have been prolific or anything, does he? Sort of over the last season or two. So
he's struggling off the pitch.
Still worry about him.
Yeah,
I think it's the manager on him. I said to you, didn't I? I think the manager. I think he's having a little battle with the manager because there has been a couple of arguments
with Rashford as well. You just don't know what his motivation is at the minute. He's hit that massive contract. That's going to be the biggest contract he gets in his career. So the motivation's gone away a little bit. He's obviously got a lot off the pitch that he's done as well outside of football, which has been fantastic. But I know he's had some other issues like family issues off the pitch, and I think it has affected him a little bit. But what's not helping him is every time we get to shift him to the left, which is his best position, it's not long before he's shifted back in the middle or to the right because we've got injuries. So it's just hit and miss for everybody at the minute, unfortunately. I wouldn't say there's any Man United player that's been overly consistent this season. I think Dallo has literally been the only one that you can say has been really consistent, because even Fernandes, as well as he's played in terms of he's created a lot of chances still, he's still not performing at his very best. He could be a level or two above. So we're just consistently inconsistent at the minute.
I mentioned, we're ending the show now, people. I mentioned last game because Dan on his give yourself a shout out, Dan. Plug yourself up there. What's your channel? What did you go on? Because I went on yesterday. It was fantastic, by the way. I really enjoyed myself. So give yourself a shout out. Where can people find you? A few Man U fans might listen to this that probably need a channel like you. So, and a few Everton fans might go over when they want to know what you're doing. So
yeah. So I'm on the left. So it's field_FTP, which is the Foul Pro podcast. So I'm basically starting my own podcast coming into the start of next season, which is not going to be based on one team. It's going to be the Premier League as a whole. And we're just going to look at some funny moments, talk about all football and not just one team. And then All for United, which is, it's literally the best United channel on YouTube, to be honest. We don't go after clickbait. We don't go after sensationalism. We just, it's for the fans,
relaxed,
by the fans. We have different fans on every week. We literally say that the inbox is open for anybody that fancies it. Just drop us a message. You can come on, share your opinion. We just do it respectfully. So as long as you can back up your opinion with a respectful argument, we'll listen to what you've got to say, sort of thing. And it honestly it's a brilliant channel. I've only been on it for about 8 months. And the lad that you was on with Barry and Connor,
Barry's
they make
cool
people
guy.
Yeah, they make feel so wanted on there as well. But it's the community of it, to be honest. We all have fallouts and we all share different opinions, but it's all done so respectfully that you're like talking again the week after, all having a fantastic chat. It's just like mates down the pub sort of a atmosphere there. So it's definitely worth a watch if you're interested in football. And we tend to go into the older stuff as well. We don't just focus on every game every week. We do special shows, we have quizzes, we do all sorts. But yeah, it's all for United. And like I say, the lads on there deserve all the credit they can get, to be honest.
I have dropped the link in a lot of the write-up. Yeah, I've dropped the link in a lot of the write-up. And yeah, it is a really good channel. Barry's really good. Nice, smooth host.
He's a brilliant host.
Yeah, look after you. We did get a lot of... we started with Spaces, and sometimes it was a bit aggressive. We moved over to here, and I tell you something, we get such nice people on this channel. We really do. And the people in the comments, fantastic. We feel like our best friends, to be honest. So we're here all the time. You asked me what game did I like that Everton played, Dan, when I come on your channel. And I said the game that was 4-0, and I was thinking, was there a game that was 4-0? But I could remember it, yeah. Who was, to Paul or Dan, you can work together on this, or in the comments as well, when Everton beat, I'm not going to say when it was, when Everton beat Man United 4-0, who was the goal scorers? There's 4 goal scorers here.
Was it Jelavic?
21st of April, 2019. So
2019.
Yeah, I had to do my research here in the comments as well. Everton 4, and this was a cracker. And you, by the way, you actually had Lukaku in your team here as well. When I looked
that don't shock me.
Really?
You had Lukaku, and we actually had Snyderlin in the team as well. And we beat you 4-0. You had Lukaku. So we both had X's in this game as well. You had Pogba, you had Matic, you had Fred, you had Dalot, Jones, Smalling, Lindelof, Rashford, Lukaku, Martial. That was your team.
So that was
Is
definitely
this-
under Solskjaer then.
Our team, to give you a bit more of a hint here before we end it, our team was this will help you with the 4 goal scorers. We've got to end this. Our team was Calvert-Lewin up top, Sigurdsson in the 10,
it's got to
Richarlison,
be
Bernard,
Sigurdsson.
Garner Gay, Schneiderlin, Dinier, Zuma, Keane, and Coleman. So who was the goal scorers?
Luca Dean likes a goal against us. Did he score one?
Yes, he did. That's one. So
Yeah.
you've got 3 left, people.
Sigurdsson.
Was that the goal where DCL closed down Van der Sar? Was it that game?
I've done my
DCL
research
score?
to get this here.
No, it wouldn't be Van der
DCL
Sar.
score.
Score.
That-
No,
That would have been
Calvert-Lewin didn't
under
score. Sorry.
Solskjaer.
Ah,
Yeah, that was under Solskjaer. So Calvert-Lewin didn't score. So far, Dinier is
Luca
one.
Dean. Sigurdsson.
Sigurdsson is another one. Yeah. Do you want me to give you a clue?
Coleman, Richarlison.
Richarlison, yeah. Richarlison was one. And now the last goal scorer, missing one. There was one more goal scorer because it was 4-0. I can't believe I'm saying 4-0 against Man U. Dan won't like me for this, pointing this one out, but I've got to brag about something. We don't get that very often. Can't score a goal at the minute. The last goal scorer was a substitution. And he is an ex-Arsenal player.
Walcott.
Yeah, Theo Wilcott.
Theo Walcott.
Was it?
Yeah, Theo Wilcott. Yeah,
Wow.
come on and score. So, yeah, it was Richarlison, Sigurdsson, Dinier, and Wilcott. Oh my God, I can't believe we beat you 4-0. That puts me a bit more positive for tomorrow, even if we ain't got those players. Dan, what's your favourite game where you probably smashed us before? What stays in your head?
It wasn't a favourite game. It's just a game that sticks in my head. It was the 4-4 draw. We was 4-2 up with about 10 minutes to go. And I'm sure it was Stephen Pienaar scored the win, the equaliser. And I can always remember it either cost us the title or cost us a Champions League or something, like Champions League spots or something like that. But it always sticks in my head of like, I can remember chucking my remote and being like, what has happened here? I remember we 4-2 up with 10 minutes to go and we ended up drawing 4-4. So that's it. It's a bad one that sticks in my head, unfortunately. But yeah, it's just a 4-4.
I think you said that yesterday.
Fellaini
Paul, what's yours? What's yours,
said,
Paul?
Oh, God. I mean, you're talking a long time. I mean, just going back to that 4-4, Jelavic scored a cracking header from a really tight angle into the far corner. Remember that one? Azra thinks that was your birthday. It's his birthday, rather, that 4-4. Oh, God. It's hard to bloody pick out, to be fair.
Duncan Ferguson
if I go,
scored 2, that was a good one.
I'm going. Oh, God's sake! I'm going back. I'm going from thinking of when I was younger. I'm thinking we actually beat Man U 5-0 in the 80s.
80s is the best time. Good music then as well.
It was when we 5-0. Sheedy got a couple. I think Gary Stevens scored. I think it was 85, and we just ran riot. And it was just the greatest side that we've had, that I've seen.
I hadn't even been made then, Paul.
Man U had the like.
Well, I wasn't even. The action hadn't even gone down.
Born.
The action hadn't even gone down for me then, mate.
But they had Stapleton, they had Robson. Do you know what I mean? They had some Jasper Olsen. They had some decent players, you know. But we were absolutely steamrolled them, to be fair. And that's probably the game that we really dominated and scored loads of goals in. That something comes to mind.
And if you know your history, it's enough to make your heart go woo, woo, woo. I tell you. I wish it was like that now. Right, if you can, I've got my guitar here. If you can hit that like and subscribe, hit the like and subscribe today. Hit the like and subscribe today. Hit the like and subscribe. Hit the like and subscribe. You think I've been good on that, how long I've had that, but I'm really not. But yeah, if you can, come on, get on it. Sort it out. You know what I mean? We've given you free music here. We're like a radio station. We smash it. Look at this. Put some Kelvin on here. Calvin Harry. Put a bit of Boomy on. Right, we love you all. We're going to let you go. Thanks for staying on the whole stream. It's been a cracker, you know. There's been like over 300 people on tonight. Absolute cracker. Dan, thanks for coming on, mate. I know I said an hour and we've gone to 15, so I'm expecting a call from your partner saying, what the fuck are you doing? I was planning to go out to have a doner kebab or a nice takeaway or something, or Chinese, and I'm going to get it. Just tell her it's my fault. That's what I tell Paul on the channel. Tell her it's my fault. But boss for coming on, mate. Hope you enjoyed it. Bad luck for tomorrow.
Yeah,
I mean that in a good way. I mean that in a good way. I can't wait for this game. I don't know what's going to happen. It's like putting your hand in a bag of sweets. You don't know what you're going to get this. I tell you, let's do this. Here we go. Tomorrow we wake up and it's the first kickoff, which I like as well. Chloe said to me, my partner, you're actually the first kickoff. I goes, thank God, because I don't want to wait all day for Everton to play. Let's just get it out of the way and see what's going to happen. Up the top is everyone. If you're going, enjoy it. It's going to be a boss one. It's going to be a good game. I'm scared and I'm nervous and I'm excited. I'm going to drop the banner now. Thanks again. If you can, there's been loads on. I would love to see 200 likes on the stream. If you can, just do that for me, please. Come on. Help us out on this channel. And if you can hit the subscribe, it's appreciated because we're on 600 and we've got 200 on. We could get to 1,000 in no time if you actually all went over and hit that subscribe. Do it for us, please. Get on it. Let's drop the banner and drop the nice smooth music with Evertonians, with flares. Hopefully we don't have to do that again this season. But if we do, if we end up in a big relegation battle, we will. Up the top is everyone.
I never really know what's going on. Look at me sometimes like all
Stream, we celebrate. I really do.
hear me